I welcome all to this knowledge sharing session. FIAX, in association with MicroSave Consulting, is organizing a series of roundtables on various fintech and financial inclusion topics with the participation from the industry experts and the startup founders. Last week, we concluded our first roundtable session on ubiquitous lending, and it was so timely given the RBI has just released a new circular on digital lending. Today, the topic that we will be discussing is about insurance for all. In fact, we had a discussion in our office about the insurance for all, and people were of the opinion that insurance is already available to all of us. So we decided to we made a small group, and we said let's go to our societies and check whether the insurance is available to all. And we identified security guys in our building, domestic help, vegetable vendor, grocery shop, a delivery boy, and we said let's ask each of them whether they have an insurance. And to surprise of many in my office, this insurance was not available to them. In fact, there was a feedback which we received, which said that insurance is meant for the elitist members of the society, and that was a little shocking. So if this is a state of insurance in the metros, you can imagine what must be happening in the tier 3 and tier 4 cities. And I firmly believe that if this change has to come in, the startup, the insurtech companies will bring in this change. And these roundtables are a part of our efforts to mobilize the ecosystem and increase the collaboration among startups and the incumbent players. We hope these roundtables will enable understand challenges and fuel innovation and collaborations to make insurance available for all. Today, we have an experienced panel with us, and I take this opportunity to introduce them. Our first panelist is Mr. Amit Malik. He is a business leader and has over 22 years of experience in the financial services. He was with Aviva Life Insurance for almost 10 years at various leadership positions. He was the Chief Executive Officer and Managing Director of Aviva India. He served at many leading brands from the BFSI sector like Bank of America. He was with ABN AMRO, American Express, and many others. I welcome Amit to this knowledge sharing session.
Namaste, and thank you, Vikas. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Our second panelist is Mr. Kumar Shailab. He is a founder of Uplift Mutual. Shailab has been working for about 17 years with the Uplift Mutual and a pioneer in the space of health microinsurance, bringing community-owned model of health protection across urban and tribal geography with a huge focus on preventive and primary care. He is working now to build a digital twin of this community model to take a community-led model of health protection to newer communities and geographies. Welcome, Kumar Shailab, to this panel discussion.
Namaskar, and thank you so much.
We have Sudeshna Dasgupta from Bajaj General Insurance, Bajaj Alliance General Insurance. Sudeshna has a diversified experience of 18 years in the insurance industry. She has worked in different profiles of general insurance like marketing and sales, claims, partnerships. As a head of vertical for CSC, that is a Common Service Center, and VIN, that is Village Insure Network, she is responsible for strategizing sustainable distribution network for varied rural insurance business, including agriculture. Welcome, Sudeshna.
Thank you.
Our next panelist is Sudhenshu Prushti. He is a co-founder of Riskcovery. He after 23, in fact, we had a session in our FIAX modes where recovery solutions were presented to the entire community, and there were a lot of positive feedback on their model. So let me introduce Sudhenshu. He has 23-year experience in corporate insurance. In the insurance sector, he decided to pursue his dream of being an entrepreneur and ventured into an insurtech startup that is Discovery.com in 2018. Discovery is into simplifying insurance purchase for micro and small business owners for their personal and business risk using data-enabled technology. Discovery has won national startup awards in fintech sector in the insurance category. Prior to this, Sudhanshu had a corporate career with leading BFSI brands like Royal Sundaram Alliance Insurance, Liberty General Insurance. So welcome, Sudhanshu, to this panel discussion.
Namaste. I'm very privileged.
And to moderate this session, we have an experienced and a very knowledgeable moderator. Let me introduce Anish Gulati. Anish has been at a managerial level in the MSc Banking, Financial Services and Insurance BFSI practice group in Asia. He has domain expertise in general insurance sector with in-depth knowledge of end-to-end execution, underwriting, claim, product development, and capacity building of rural and micro insurance product. He has an experience in implementing digital financial services. Anish has worked in the field of micro and agriculture insurance in South Asia, Eastern, Southern Africa, and Pacific Islands. He has provided technical assistance to multiple agencies on agriculture, livestock insurance, and other micro insurance product, including landscape study, designing and structuring insurance program, and product training, and pilot testing and rollout. With this introduction, I would request Anish to take over and initiate this knowledge sharing session on insurance for all. Over to you, Anish.
Thank you, Vikas. Thank you so much for the brief introduction and setting the right tone for our session today. I think, yes, insurance for all is a must thing, and it's so great to have a panel that's so diversified. We have life insurance, general insurance, mutual insurance, as well as distribution today. So I think we have covered everything that can be taken into insurance. So as Vikas already initiated that, there is a group, when they thought about insurance for all webinar, there was definitely there is a perception that insurance is available for all, but we have seen that if we divide the Indian population into 3 tiers, the upper tier, which either has the privilege of buying a private insurance, can do that, or have a privilege to get the insurance from their employees. And then there is a lowest tier, which is largely covered by the government-backed schemes, the Jan Suraksha schemes or the Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana. And then there is a missing middle, as Niti Aayog and the industry calls it, the missing middle. And that missing middle is not a small population that covers 40 crore. Of Indians, and that's around 30% of our population. So that's definitely challenging, and especially all of us have seen and learned the importance of insurance during the times of COVID. So I think the timing is very apt to have this discussion. So I'll start with you, Mr. Amit, to start. Now that we know that there is a missing gap, there's a huge void in insurance for all. I would like to understand from you, as your role as who has headed an insurance company in India, how do you see the legal and regulatory challenges and the opportunities, not just the challenges part, but also the opportunities part that we have, which can help us to cover this missing middle. So largely, we would like to understand it from the perspective of customers who cannot buy complex insurance product, who might not even understand what is a pre-existing disease or some stuff like that, and then their salaries, monthly income ranges between 15,000 to 25 or 30,000, and they cannot afford a full-fledged hospitalization cover or a good term plan. Sir, your thoughts, please.
Thank you, Anish, and thank you everyone for having me. It's a pleasure to be on a panel with very, very interesting and diverse profiles. So thank you for the opportunity. Anish, I think it's a great question which addresses, and I've always spoken about it and talked that what you call the missing middle is what I call the true Bharat that is out there, right? And and that is different from the India, and we need to cater to that. let me first start by taking the regulatory angle, and then I'll come to the customer and the product and the simplicity. From a regulatory standpoint, I think the regulator has already been focusing on this segment. So if you look at, the Saral Jeevan Bima or the Saral, term plan that the regulator has launched, which is the standard term plan where the company just puts its own label, white labels it, but the terms and conditions are standard across and up to a limit of 20 lakhs that can be sold from a term standpoint, and similarly from a pension standpoint. I think the regulatory push is already there. The regulator has helped devise a plan working with the insurance companies on both term and pension, and providing for the social security, providing for term cover to the middle. I think the onus now is on the insurance companies to make sure that they make it a integral part of their business plan and track that development. Just because it is regulatory mandated, it has to become an integral part. And I think that's where the challenge lies for all the insurance companies to take that baton and move into the missing middle India and, educate people and sell that. Various reasons why it can't be sold, and why it doesn't get sold so much, and I'm not going there, but I think the tools are already there. So the regulatory focus is there, and that's the point that I wanted to bring in from the listener standpoint. And we should thank the regulator for proactively doing that over a couple of years. I think that's one. If you look at the new chairperson from the IRD, and I've had the privilege of hearing him twice and meeting him, I think the focus that he's trying to bring in to simplify the insurance and to take it to the missing middle, I think that is the focus already there. He has already articulated his own vision about saying that every Indian should have a life insurance, every household should have a health insurance. I think that vision is already articulating, and I've seen him in his short span working towards it, right? And I think there are some far-reaching changes that we can expect the regulator to bring in the coming months, and that too at a fast pace, unlike the past. So the pace is going to be quite fast this time. I think what also the third element to this pie, and one is the regulatory piece that I've addressed. I think the third element to the pie is obviously the customer. If you look at it, life insurance is a very, very complex industry, and there's nothing to be proud of, but that is the fact. And there is a regulatory element to the complexity. There is also an insurance company element to the complexity, which is the product. So, like you said, Anish, the products have to be simplified for the customer to be able to understand. And why I say this is because why do you buy insurance? The moment of truth of buying insurance is when you put in a claim, whether it is for life insurance, general insurance, or health insurance. When you put in a claim and say, I have paid for this and now I want this claim to be settled. A lot of companies in life in general over last few years have focused on this aspect and tried to make the claim settlement process very, very simple, and also been very, very transparent on the claim settlement ratios that we have, that they have had. So if you look at general insurance today, and my colleague is on the panel, and she can vouch, gone are the days when you needed to go to a workshop and get someone to come. Today you do it on the mobile, on the app, and you get it done. Similarly for life insurance, we at Aviva had introduced a 30-minute claim settlement process, and all companies today have gone digital. So the process has got simplified. I think from a health insurance standpoint, the other aspect that you checked is there is a lot of, when you buy a health insurance product, you also mentioned, there are a lot of riders, there are a lot of fine print, there is a lot of pre-existing disease that comes in. Fortunately or unfortunately, whichever way you look at it, either the customer doesn't take the effort to understand what he or she is buying, and similarly, the salespeople most of the time do not take the effort to explain clearly what they are selling. And I think that's the missing puzzle of the pie. So for the insurance companies, the product has to become simpler. It has to become more sachet driven to say, what do you need for? What is your need? What are you buying? You can buy the full gamut, or you can pick and choose from a menu option. I think that's one solution to look at. I think the other piece that as a customer, the challenge is if you were to buy a health insurance plan, and I being from the industry, I struggle is when you go to the website and look at various health insurance companies and look at their claim settlement ratio. There are so many ifs and buts that you never get one figure. In a life insurance company, you will know this company has a 98% or a 98.6% claim settlement ratio. Similarly, for a general insurance company, it's easy to find out. But from a life, the products are so complex that it's very difficult to find. And then at the moment of truth, when you are putting your claim in, whether it is for hospitalization, whether it is for a treatment or a procedure that you have done, and when you are told, because of this fine print, because of this rider, this claim will be either partially settled or not settled, that takes away the trust that the customer has in an insurance, and that kind of spreads around to say there is no point in taking, these guys will not give the claim. I'm not saying everyone does that, but that's the experience that happens. So I think simpler products, clear communication, and a very open and a transparent claim settlement process is something that will help us to focus on the missing middle and get more people to come in and get the coverage, is my view.
Right. Perfect, sir. I think, yes, that's the need, simple product, transparent products that, we are able to, make it to a household level. And so when we come on to the second round of our discussions on technology, we'll definitely focus on how, technology can do that part. So for now, I think we have picked up you've taken it to a very good direction where customer centricity come into play, and there I would like to now call Mr. Shalab, because they work largely with the customers, and they are the concept of mutual, if I am not wrong, is where the the insured are also the owners, in a very simple sense, if I have to say one sentence. So in India, the cooperative movement has been great. We have seen the cooperatives doing wonders in India, especially when it comes to the milk and food crops and oil seeds. The SHG model in India has uplifted the women in India. It has given them an independence. So from there, Shalab, let me go. I think I have to break your question in two parts. Please explain how mutuals exist, because a majority of us are not really aware of how mutuals exist. For us, an insurance is either life or general. Mutual is not something that we hear every day. How does mutual work, and how can a mutual insurance help us to attain the insurance for all, especially for the segment that we are discussing here? Salam.
Thank you, Anish. Just to put some facts into place, 30% of the world insurance market belongs to mutual and cooperative insurance. It's only in India that we have just one model of what we call as partner agent model today, where you have to buy it from an insurance company. But if you look at Ayushman Bharat, they're actually following two models. You have the partner agent model as well as what I would call a mutual model, because they're using state trust to run health insurance. And some states have a mix of it. So mutual insurance, as you rightly said, is very simple cooperative insurance. So an Amul today can decide to set up its own insurance. The fact is that cooperative insurance companies also require the same kind of capital to set up a cooperative insurance company as a private shareholding company, which is where I think a lot of people are arguing that this should be different. It's including Seva in Gujarat has been advocating that for cooperative insurance we should look at capital requirement differently. What sets apart a mutual? So a mutual is basically a not-for-profit cooperative. You don't give dividends to your members. You plow back the surplus into the organization. That's the a layman definition of what mutual insurance is. So basically a not-for-profit cooperative, which people don't get to hear in India. So that is one. The second part is that, as you rightly said, the policyholders are owners. So that is one of the major differences in a private shareholding model versus a cooperative or a mutual model, where people who buy the policy are also the ones who will take decision on management, product design, and things like that. So typically in the uplift model that we have developed, right from product design. So everything is designed technically. You have technical people, actuaries actually setting up the design, the exclusions, the premium design. Everything is set by actuaries, but it is validated by the community. Similarly, when it comes to claims, it is processed the way an underwriter processes in an insurance company, but the final decision lies with the community or community representatives. So governance of the insurance company is done by the policyholders themselves. And in India, we did have a provision for mutual insurance. We had mutual insurance companies before independence. In fact, mutual insurance was mentioned in the Insurance Act till 2015. It was removed from there. Nobody knows why that happened. But now you have cooperative insurance, and if you look at IFCO Tokyo, I think they are the only properly licensed cooperative insurance company in India. So that's the first part of your question. Second part is whenever I hear people, regulators are trying their best. Believe me, insurance companies are also trying their best to crack this market. It's not that they don't. It's just that it's very expensive and it's very difficult. And what we have realized in whatever we have done, Anish, till now, is that it's a behavior change thing. It's not a question of उनको समझ में नहीं आता. It is not true. ये गलती जो भी करेगा पिट जाएगा इस मार्केट में. These people know very well how to spend their money. In fact, they are better managers than most of us because they manage their lives in very small budgets. So ये कहना कि नहीं उनको समझ नहीं आता है, आपने समझाया नहीं है basically. We run a mutual model across 9 locations where women from villages, slums, they understand claims ratio, they understand renewal rate, they understand claims TAT. They understand all of that because they have been told what does it mean, and they manage it themselves. So ये कहना कि लोगों को पता नहीं है, आता नहीं है, uneducated हैं, I think that's a very old way of looking at things, and people are extremely aware of the fact that they need something like this. They just don't know that a product like this exists and nobody explains to them. That is one. Second is, आप Amazon से अभी भी खरीद रहे हैं सामान डिस्काउंट पे, राइट? क्योंकि वो हैबिट बना रही है Amazon, फ्लिपकार्ट आपको वो खरीदने की डिस्काउंट दे देके. एक समय आएगा सारे डिस्काउंट गायब हो जाएंगे, तभी जाके वो लोग प्रॉफिट कमाएंगे. तभी ये जितने भी सो कॉल्ड स्टार्टअप्स हैं जो काफी इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हैं, तभी प्रॉफिट कमा पाएंगे. आज सबको ही डिस्काउंट देने में लगा हुआ है. Now, when you look at insurance, the sacrifice is immediate. The pleasure is unknown. It's a very different product in the financial world. To explain this to a family that earns 15,000, 25,000, where there are far more priorities, it's very difficult to sell a product like this. And believe me, we have tried doing that. Even in a community model, it's extremely difficult. People think आप community के साथ काम कर रहे हो तो आसानी से हो जाएगा. नहीं होता है. It is extremely difficult. I think what mutuals are doing and what is missing is that you need to stay for the long. Insurance is not a 10-year, 20-year-old game. It's a 100-year-old game. You need to really be long-term in your vision. And you need to invest in creating the market. If you don't create this market, these people will not understand. And as the earlier speaker was saying, there is some amount of distrust because claims don't work, things like that. My point is that nobody has invested in making that experience, great. So you want poor people to buy insurance products out of the box and imagine that, they will behave like normal customers when you are giving very educated people huge discounts on different other products. You sell that way. So the only way you can actually do micro insurance in India is either you bundle it or you subsidize it. There is no third way. So my point is a mutual basically takes time. It's organic. It develops understanding of what risk and risk protection is. And we focus on risk reduction. बीमार पड़ना ये हमारा focus नहीं है. Hospitalization जाना ये हमारा focus नहीं है. And that's why Uplift has built a model कि आप पहले OPDs में आइए, आप outpatient में आइए, आपको जाने की जरूरत है तो आप जाइए. So in that sense, mutuals bring that, क्योंकि health daily need है, health hospitalization need नहीं है सिर्फ. कैटास्ट्रॉफिक हॉस्पिटलाइजेशंस के नंबर्स बहुत बड़े होते हैं, इसलिए हम आंखें चौधियां जाती हैं हमारी. लेकिन इफ यू लुक एट पीपल्स नीड ऑन अ डेली बेसिस, दे नीड हेल्थ ऑन अ डेली बेसिस. एंड इंश्योरेंस, हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस फॉर दैट मैटर, generally does not cover that. Today there are products coming out, there are pilots being done, which is very good for this country. But this is not the case across the board. So understanding what people need, developing products that they will need, and developing it in a manner where they understand it. आप उनको समझाने की तो कोशिश कीजिए, वो समझेंगे. ऐसा नहीं कि उनको नहीं समझ में आता. So I think that's where mutuals are a little different. We spend a lot of time on customer education, and we believe in organic growth, and that's why we don't scale up like आज हमने 10 लाख कर लिया, 15 लाख कर लिया, वैसे नहीं कर सकते हम लोग. So I think that's what I'll answer to your question. I'm sorry if I said something which should not be said.
No, absolutely. I think, and it was great that you set the tone that it's not that they do not know how to spend the money, but they have their needs are they have prioritized their needs in a way that if insurance has to come up the ladder, they would need a behavioral change. And also the component of risk management. I think that's where the mutuals really vary, differ from the mainstream insurance. I had experience of working with the factory mutual, but that was largely on the property side of risk, and their focus is always on maintaining a good property and then going for the insurance. So I think yes, risk management is something that is a missing thing, and obviously reaching out to people, understanding their behavior is another thing. And from the topic of reaching out to people, I would now move it to Sureshna from Bajaj Allianz, because she's the one who's leveraging a lot on village networks and reaching out to CSCs and innovative channels. So based on your experience of working with the traditional channels, which are like the agents to some extent, and the new age insurtech channel, how do you think the partnerships with insurtechs and I'm not saying replacing one with another, but keeping both of them together has worked or can work for an insurance company, especially for our target segment? Ma'am, over to you.
Thank you, Anish, for giving me this opportunity to speak in this panel. The question which you asked, first of all, if you talk about InsurTech and CSC specifically, in this particular periphery, in this particular environment, CSC has done wonders. If I talk about CSC specifically, they actually have done wonders because of their robust IT technology and the IT services which are available at the last mile of the villages. As on today, if I talk about CSC, there are like 3.74 lakhs of walies who are working across the country, and among which around 2.3 lakhs walies are there who are eligible for selling insurance. Initially, it was like RAP, rural authorized person, where the person has to undergo proper training and all, and then they used to get the license. But by the intervention of regulator, now they are also having this POS model, and they are giving these INS code, which are like giving an opportunity to the rural person to sit at their village and sell insurance to their own community. Like if I talk about the numbers, like average non-crop numbers, if I say, they are doing around 1.2 lakhs of policy every month. Like on an average every month, they are insuring 1.2 lakhs individual every month in non-crop sector, and a premium of around 23 crores they are generating month on month basis. If I talk about crop insurance, again CSC has played a major role. Initially, when like crop insurance was started, it was the banks who were playing the major role in the insuring the farmers. But with the changes, now this insurtech company and CSC are playing a major role. These insurtech companies are coming up, they are taking the license, they are working as an intermediary, but CSC has already doing it. And if I talk about the number of person they are insuring, like around every year they are doing the, it is in lakhs, like lakh of farmers they are insuring under PMAPY scheme. The farmer share, which is just 2% or 1.5% of the sum insured, like 2% in Kharif and 1.5% in Rabi. So in terms of farmer share average, they have done 750 crores premium for last 4 years continuously in this crop insurance periphery. So they are playing a major role. The new insurance company, they are having the approach of the sachet product. Lot of companies, like if I can name Gram Cover, they are coming with sachet products, and they are again building these products for the non-loany farmers, those products which are not covering under the government scheme, the PMAPY. They are creating lot of small sachet product which are helping the farmer. Like there are products like germination failure. In a crop insurance, it is end-to-end coverage under PMAPY from sowing to like the harvesting, even till post-harvest. But the sachet product like seed germination failure, that is, these are the need of the hour. Like these kind of products are helping, and in this place insurtech companies are helping. Like normal traditional agents, they are only selling the traditional product like whatever is their motor health insurance. They are not investing much of time on it. So this is the need of the hour if we actually wanted to penetrate into rural sector. As my previous speaker has mentioned, that they are quite educated and they are quite aware of the things. They are absolutely. If you talk about crop insurance, they will come, they will talk about the claim, and sometimes they speak better than us. They know in each stage which claim they can ask for, they can go for. So awareness is there, but still that will is not there. Will is not there because that we are not able to penetrate, like we cannot matlab, as an insurance company, they need to really take a step where they can educate the customer in terms of the benefits instead of just selling the product. That is very important. And the insurtech company, with the help of their technology, they will able to do it. So the in this situation, if you ask me, insurtech company like CSC, they have their machineries, they have the ground force, so they will able to take it ahead. That's it.
Thanks, ma'am. I think, I think you've definitely set a good tone for, appreciating the role that technology has, and can play in improving the insurance access for all. We would like to move to, our next participant, Mr. Suvindu from Discovery. So, hi, Suvindu. Good to catch you after long. So I think, so we have now set the tone, and just because we all know that, Discovery is not just an aggregator, you are just not a corporate agent, or like technically not into that, but much beyond that. So we would like to understand how Discovery works and how you think, the open insurance or the APIs can help not just for people who are digitally very literate, but who traditionally have been relying on channels like CSC. They go to that place on a physical model. So for them, even going to CSC is like more of a physical insurance buying. It's not purely digital. Whereas somebody who is from an urban area can actually use a mobile app to do that. So I think two questions for you. What is like Discovery doing, and how your model helps to reach out to the target that we are speaking today? Thank you.
Sure. Thanks, Anix, and hi everyone. So it's a definitely great opportunity for us to talk about us. So Discovery, when we started in 2018, our thought process was, like the previous speaker spoke about it, the industry, the insurance ecosystem, regulator, insurance companies, everybody is looking at enhancing the insurance penetration. And whether it is the missing middle or going beyond this tier 1, tier 2 cities, expanding to the first beyond the first 15, 16 cities, that has been the target of every insurance company. When I was working with insurers, that has been our focus in boardroom discussions as in that. So we realize that while the Bharat remains outside of these 12, 15 cities, but to reach out, there is a limited bandwidth of how many insurance companies with their own branches, own team can reach out everywhere. And most of the corporate agents and brokers are again focusing of their business, and their business development is more in the urban cities. Now reaching out to all these areas requires technology enablement, and every insurance company to build a customized technology for every distributor or intermediary, it is also may not be possible for them. So keeping all these things in and use cases in mind, we sort of building an insurance infrastructure, which we call ourselves as insurance in a box. So our infrastructure is a platform which enables any insurance product powered by any insurance company or any insurance intermediary, mainly focusing about enabling distribution and customer service. So these are the two areas where Discovery's platform is focusing. So whether it is a group product, whether it is a retail insurance product, whether it is a sachet product coming from life insurance, health insurance, or general insurance, we enable as a middle layer between the insurance company and the customer. So while in every insurance company may have a different technology, but as a distributor, they find our platform as a unified technology which connects to all insurance company and all products. So that with that motto, we started in 2018, and right now the platform has kind of matured a lot. So we are able to handle lots of transactions, many products, and we have about 70 insurance intermediaries who are licensed brokers, licensed corporate agents, and master policy holders. Some of them are very big, like large private sector banks. Some of them are very big affordable housing company. Some of them are very big assisted commerce company. There, some of them are very big mobility company. So digital commerce, mainly focusing about digital commerce. So those organizations are using the platform to connect to their insurance partners. So they may be dealing with any insurance company and for any product. Right. So while we're building all of these, basically, so it is helping the distributor, it is helping the insurance company to make the product available to the missing middle or the end user, and the end user is also able to purchase this in a much more convenient manner. So now when we are talking about this, right, so what are these end users? These end users, even your MSc research has, you have kind of all the research reports talk about it. The attributes of these users are like there is uncertainty of income with them, and they can't give a long-term commitment. And when we are talking about insurance products, so especially it kind of shows always the our products, the way we have designed till now in the insurance industries, we are not looking, we never looked at a daily cover or a weekly cover, or like Sudeshna was talking about a sachet cover for a particular modular thing. It is not a full-fledged health insurance, it's not a full-fledged crop insurance. Can we unbundle that into specific components and offer it at a affordable pricing? So that is very important, especially for this segment. So when we are trying to create these kind of products and also make it available daily, weekly, so it is a nightmare to handle the operations in terms of collection of premium, confirming the cover, and renewing that cover on a daily basis or a weekly basis. And I don't think the insurance companies will have the ready systems to handle these kind of situations. So some of them have, some of them may not have, because that was not the need and that was not the business model, because the premiums are very less, and then the investment and focus to that never is not the top priority. So when we entered, we got a lot of our clients and the opportunity in that segment. So we have built layers which is enabling the insurance company's core system or enabling their distribution system to convert that into a daily premium, providing that reconciliation of premium, providing the renewal on a daily basis or a weekly basis, sending renewal reminders, issuing policy on insurance companies' behalf wherever they do not have APIs for certain tailor-made products. So those are the things what we enable to the whole ecosystem. So today, when we started, the initial 2 years, our main focus was mainly towards this assisted and LMI segment, and LMI segment assisted insurance selling. So we have sold lots of hospital cash policies which are low ticket size and sachet within a premium range, much affordable segment. Now we have focused about daily covers and weekly covers to the gig economy or the migrant workers, so those kind of thing, which is, so like I think Amit and somebody was saying that the insurance is, when you go to this segment, they don't, while they perceive the need of the insurance, probably in terms of their finance planning, this may not be sitting in the top of the agenda. So unless we make it as contextual on whatever they are consuming today, whatever they are purchasing today, if we make insurance as part of that and bundle this, then that is where these people will start using it. Right. So for example, we have seen a lot of migrant workers transferring weekly money transfers, right? So and the family is dependent on that money, right? So then in this kind of scenario, if we can, and they are paying a certain amount of charges at these local retailers in the villages and block level or CSC centers to transfer the money. So can they pay a little bit extra along with that charges and cover the the remitter in terms of the health uncertainty or life morbidity or mortality perspective, something happens to that guy for next 3 months, next 1 month, or next 15 days, the money reaches to the family. And this is a monthly cover. So every month you pay that premium, and then 3 months or 6 months or 1 year, depending on what is the money that you can bundle. So the insurance cover gets kicked in. So those kind of products we have enabled. We have enabled premium collection on a daily basis. We have enabled premium collection on monthly basis, weekly basis from the local closed loop wallets that they have, these operators operate. So whereas if you expect the insurance company to go and integrate with all of these wallets and all that, it may not be possible for them in terms of bandwidth and all. So we have acted as a middle layer interface. So who's doing all this job and then solving this problem and enabling distribution across. So that is what the open API structure is helping. So one is two, three things that primarily we are doing. One, enabling insurance companies for wherever they do not have the APIs or they have not prioritized that API development, we are providing them a platform where they can configure the product, configure the underwriting rules, configure the pricing, and offer it as a API to anyone, any wallet company, any domestic money transfer recharge company. So then they can go and distribute anywhere. Similarly, we have enabled on the claims flow as well. So we realize that in the claims, the customers are expected to go to the nearest insurance company's branch in hospital cash and personal accident claims. And the nearest branch of the insurance company may be 40 kilometer, 80 kilometer, 200 kilometer from the village. And it takes away one full day for that villager. Instead of that, can we initiate at least the claim intimation process through a WhatsApp based WhatsApp bot? So we created a WhatsApp chat bot where we are asking all the, first of all, we are not asking the questions that already there in the insurance policy. We are only asking about the questions that is relevant and that is new, which is related to the claim. So customer answers those only 7-8 questions. And then our platform is creating a pre-filled claim form as described or defined by the insurance company. And that is getting submitted to the insurance company on behalf of the customer. So WhatsApp is a very most used for, I mean, kind of a messenger form for by most of the people in villages also. So they're used to typing information on the WhatsApp in any language. And then we are converting that into the whole process, whichever the process the insurance company is opting for, that we are converting. So just to like these examples, I hope has given enough clarity that how we are solving this problem and acting as a value added layer between the insurance companies and the end user. Thank you.
Thanks, Manju. That was really interesting and good to see that we have a pay as you go kind of insurance very much happening in our country, and that's definitely the need. It's a very talked about thing in theoretical world, but or academic world, but a practical implementation is still not very we do not see it happening every day, and I think that's a great thing you're doing. And now that you've told about daily premium collection and all, I would like to go back to Mr. Amit again to see, sir. We've seen that new models are coming where the premiums are very much need based, and the the distribution partners, be it insurtechs or the traditional or anybody, are trying to reach out to various models to various customers. In between all the technology coming and expansion, one key thing for any underwriter would be profitability, because it's good to have customers, but it's not sustainable if you're not profitable. So sir, how do you think the technology part is not only good only for reaching out to the the missing people that we've been discussing, but also helping you to maintain the bottom line as an underwriter?
That's a very tough one, Anish. Technology, profitability, making it work for all ends, your customers, your distributor, and your your shareholders is one of the toughest puzzles of the pieces of the puzzle that one has to look at it. So let me try and answer that question in various parts. First and foremost, I think technology is a key part. I think that's given. So, I'm just taking that as a given. Whether it is in solicitation, issuance, or servicing, whichever element of the policy life cycle, I think technology has impacted all of that, right? It's a tool which I've always felt technology is, is a tool, a device, or a mechanism to expedite the process by doing more, doing faster, and doing it right the first time. So, when you do more, you do it faster, you do it right the first time, I think that impacts your profitability from an organization standpoint, or, so I think that's very, very. If you look at today, we've talked about Bharat, we've talked about the missing middle. I always feel that mobile as in a mobile revolution in India, and the data costs are so low that I think that's a great opportunity that has spread. I heard my fellow speakers talk about the opportunity and how they are leveraging. I think first and foremost, if you really want to look at how you make the ease of issuance or servicing the policy, every organization has to be a mobile first organization. I think that's first, because that's where the customers are, that's where people are, and that's how you can reach them. So whether it's in the rural India, whether it's in the middle India, whether it's in outside of the top 15 cities, I think mobile first has to be the first format. Not so much from organization but a customer standpoint, because it helps your partner acquire customers which is at a cost that is lesser than a normal brick and mortar cost. It helps you service customers, which is faster. I think it helps you look at the claim settlement processes, which are faster. So I think that mobile first has to be there. A lot of us focus on being desktop first or web first. I think that's the change that needs to come in. Second is, if you look at profitability technology, there's one element of infrastructure which I'm going to point out and say, I think technology bridges that gap of infrastructure and reach. I'm not saying you should not have branches. Please don't get me wrong. I think we need to have branches, because branches also help build trust. When a lot of people can see a branch physically, there's a lot of trust that gets built in. Some may say that's old school, but sure. But I think I'm not saying we don't need branches, but we don't need big branches from an organization standpoint. It's just like I don't go to you and I don't go to a bank branch when we need it. Why do we need to go to an insurance branch, even if we know that there is a bank branch somewhere nearby, or there is an insurance branch somewhere nearby? So I think that infrastructure element comes in from technology and profitability standpoint. The third part is, I'll come to the underwriting piece, but before I come to the underwriting piece, I think that the role that technology also plays is in renewal. See, renewal of policies and, people paying their premium year on year, quarter on quarter, month on month, whatever is their frequency. I think that is very, very important, both from the benefit of the policy holder and from an organization standpoint, because, renewal life cycle, the larger the renewal, the more the number of policies that get renewed, the more the companies, kind of have leveraged the benefit out of that policy. So I think there again, technology helps us a lot, from a renewal standpoint or retention of customer standpoint or retention of policy standpoint, both for the customer. And I'll give you an example. When COVID hit us, and I'm digressing a little bit just to give you a technology important. When COVID hit us, while we all, I think like all insurance companies, we also, put in lots of digital tools for people to be able to pay a renewal from their, homes and, where they were locked in. But what we also realized was, the putting of the tools or giving people a solution is just one part of the problem. The other part is also to educate them how to use it, or to help them trust that, they should do an NEFT, or they could use a UPI, or they could use a debit card. How do they do that to get that mindset change? And like I think Shalabh said that, they are very intelligent. I absolutely agree. It is not about that they cannot do it. It is about telling them the right and the safe way to do it. I think that's the responsibility, and that's where technology will aid to educate somebody to do it. Once you do that, I think then technology just helps in renewal. Coming piece to the underwriting piece, as you look at the underwriting, and I think when I'm talking of underwriting, I'm also talking about product pricing. I'm also talking about how do you product the price for the distributor, for the customer, for the shareholder. I think that's where the underwriting rules come in. If you look at the current underwriting process, a lot of us in the industry talk about auto underwriting, and from a non-medical financial standpoint, the product has really evolved. From an auto underwriting standpoint, it passes through the system, it saves time, it saves cost. You're able to do that. I think the other success that we need to do is as to how do we underwrite policies with minimal amount of risk that we have. Right, and we design products which require underwriting in such a way that the risk is minimized. From there, my own thought is we have progressed a lot on the financial element of that underwriting, or when we design a product, we do a lot of financial consideration about pricing the product and doing the product. I think the next frontier is going to be the medical element to it. Today, you go to a medical center, you undergo a medical test, there is a medical report basis that, your product, your policy is priced from a customer standpoint, and also, the policy pricing takes into account certain medical. What we do not do is the recent advancements in the health data and the technology that we have. I think we need to imbibe that. That may not cater to all strata of the Indian population today, but at a high end, at a high risk, high premium, that can be a solution. I was talking, just before this session today in the morning, I was having a catch up with one of the founders of a health startup, who are working on saying how do they monitor your health at different parameters and progress over a period of time, which is complementary to a Fitbit or an Apple Health, on all of those devices, but far more individually focused for you to be able to read that data. And I think something like that needs to be incorporated and bring in from both from a reinsurer openness and an insurance company underwriter, because the reinsurer also has to be open to taking those surrogates or that data. And I'll give you an example. An individual could be pre-diabetic, and that individual could have been pre-diabetic for last 5 years. Now, in a traditional underwriting system, you will rate up the policy, you will rate up the risk, and you will then, give it. But if you have the health data to say that the individual has maintained a certain healthy lifestyle, changed lifestyle habits, and has been able to be pre-diabetic, for last 5 years and not crossed over the line, how do you benefit that and give that benefit to the customer and pass on that benefit with the knowledge that you have? I think is the next frontier. Similarly, on a general insurance standpoint, my colleague here would vouch. There are now, in UK and other countries, there are now opportunities for you to, put devices in the car where you know how the individual drives the car, how safe or reckless the driver is. Basis that data, you can then price the product. You can price your risk that is there in the product. And I think those are the elements that will help us bridge that price, technology, profitability gap as we look at. When I look at the future, I think blockchain is a technology that we will all have to adopt. And I'm not saying that because it's a flavor of the season. I'm saying that because when you look at an insurance policy, when you look at fraud, when you look at health records, when you look at claim settlements, when you look at financial records, I think all of this can be facilitated by blockchain, which will make it faster, cheaper, and bring down the cost of the issuance. And once you bring down the cost of the issuance, then it always helps the partner, it helps the customer, it helps the shareholder. So I think that's the gambit that I'd leave it there.
So Amit, there is a question, on this use of technology. There are several discussions which have happened in the FIAX community about the use of technology. And what we have seen is in the discussion is the technology is used to instantly debit the customer account and reach it to the merchandise. But when it comes to the refund, there is always a 7-day policy to refund. That the refund to the customer is never instant. So do you see, even if you go to the ATM and, for example, you withdraw money and for some reason the transaction fails, you get a response from a bank saying that after 7 days we will settle the amount. Now, do you see a similar experience happening in the insurance when it comes to the claim settlement? What I mean is when a customer goes for an insurance product, first of all, the product is not like an FMCG product. If I go to an outlet and I say I want a Parle-G biscuit, I pay money and I get a Parle-G biscuit. But when I go to the insurance company, I pay money and then I have to justify that amount that will be paid to me. Suppose I take a 1 lakh or 50,000 or 25,000 insurance. I need to justify why should an insurance company pay me that money. Now, why there is a gap of the moment I, why don't insurance company make it simple, saying that if you qualify 1, 2, 3 criteria, instantly whatever is the insured amount comes to you. Why there is so much of documentation? In fact, you saw in the COVID also, there was so much of documentation. There are policy claims of 4 lakhs and only 1.6 lakhs or 1 lakh rupees were settled. So why there is so much of what you call engineering which is required in the claim settlement? Why don't insurance company come up with a simple policy where the moment I satisfy 1, 2, 3 conditions, the amount gets credited instantly? That is one. Secondly, the documentation. Why does a person has to fill in so much long forms? Why there is already an Aadhaar number of the customer. He just punches in the Aadhaar number on the website of the bank or of the insurance company, and the money flows to him, and let the insurance company interact with the hospital and get all the details instead of making the customer. Now, why I see this as an important thing is because if you want to make insurance for all, now imagine if a literate person is struggling. Now, what happens to the people like Sudhanshu mentioned about WhatsApp? Now, I don't know whether a normal customer would be able to type all this on a WhatsApp or write all this in the format so that the insurance company can settle the claim. So that is where the concern is. And what are your views? Even in the travel insurance, I have seen, whenever you fly overseas, the companies do not, and there is a suppose there is a baggage, some issue happens, they look at airlines to see whether they are able to give you $100 or $250 as a settle, and then it goes into a lot of documentation. So how is the technology, what is your view on use of technology to have minimal documentation in the claim settlement?
That's a long question, but I agree with you. I really wish that, I think that's the state of arrival. So let me not dispute that. I think that's the state of arrival that we all should aim for. Right? But there is a little difference here, and I'm going to be a little provocative here, so please bear with me. I love your example of Parle-G and FMCG, but if you look at an insurance typically is a contract between two parties, right? Where the first party promises to openly declare and honestly declare whatever has to be. So I think that's the first leg of it, right? And I'm not taking, I'll come to the second leg. The first leg is if I'm going to buy an insurance, the insurance company is entering into a contract, and I'm entering into a contract with an insurance company where the onus begins with me, first of all, to be able to declare and share everything that is honestly there with me. So I'm not saying people don't do it, but I think that's the right first step. If you do that right, typically at the second step, which is the claim settlement process, things become far more easier. There is a lot of complexity that happens when the first part is not right. And basis a certain assumption, you have been offered a contract or a product where it is not correct. So I think that's the first part, and that's to be educated. I always tell people, irrespective of what you have, you should mention it there. I will tell you, I have been, when buying insurance, told not to mention certain stuff, whether it was my medical insurance, a health insurance, or my life insurance. And I've insisted that no, this is what it is, and this is what I will declare, because at the time of the claim, from my side, I can say that I have done everything that is right. I think that's the first step. The second step that you said, which is a lot of paperwork, and I wish it was right from what you said, because on the Aadhaar question. And I'll tell you why I say that, because I had the same question last year when I got my passport renewed. I was like, why would I not just give an Aadhaar, and why would I need 6 papers and go to a passport office with my Aadhaar copy, my 10th education, my, so many stuff, my PAN card copy, all of that? Why can't they just take an Aadhaar? So that's the question that I've also had as a customer. I think we will evolve there at a certain point in time, but I think that's where the insurance companies need to work with the regulator. And this is not the customer problem. This is the insurance companies need to work with the regulator to make it simple from a regulatory ask. See, there are certain documents that the regulatory ask is also there. And also there is a lot of network, while we don't talk about it openly, and I'm going to now say this, there is a lot of nexus of fraudsters that is there to from an insurance company standpoint, to swindle and fraud. And I'm not saying that the customer has to blame, but it's the insurance company also which is fighting that pockets, that you have of fraudsters who gang together and who want to defraud the insurance company. So and the insurance company also has a responsibility towards all policyholders, not one individual policyholder. See, when as an insurance company you pay a wrong policy claim, you are also impacting other policyholders when you pay a claim. So I think that responsibility that insurance company has towards all policyholders to pay the right claim, and also certain regulatory requirements, make the process cumbersome. I agree. But I think if you look at in insurance companies, they are all working towards simplifying it. They've already made it online and digital. Yes, they have done, and I think that's the right first step. The second step would be, if you look at insurance companies, the policy solicitation form or the proposal form has now come down. When I remember when I bought insurance, it was 16-18 pages. Today, I don't think any insurance company has more than 3 or 4 pages of a proposal form. So I think there has been a lot of work there. I think on this side also a lot of work has happened. I'll tell you, in Aviva we had we had started a 30-minute claim settlement process, which said up to a 15 lakh if you had a policy with us. And if you came in and you had these 3 documents, we'd give you a letter in 30 minutes to say within 48 hours the money would be transferred into your bank account. So, we had done that, and we are, and a lot of insurance companies are doing that. It doesn't get talked about so much. So up to a certain level, the focus is to settle claims with minimal documentation and paperwork and at a faster speed. So that is happening. But that point of arrival of one Aadhaar number, I think that is a more nationwide issue that we need to have to be able to settle and go back. Also, when you look at general insurance, when you look at life, and when you look at health, it will be unfair to bracket all claim settlement processes in one go, because the products are very, very different and the liabilities are very, very different. In a general insurance, I'm not taking anything away, you do a contract for 1 year. In a life insurance, you do a contract for 25 to 30 years. And your liabilities are far higher, and your premium sums are very similarly for health. You do various permutation combinations of whether it is right, whether it is wrong, whether it was in the policy. So I think all of that require the documentation. So I'm not shying away from the process. I think what you've articulated is a good wish list that all of us as individuals and Indians have it, and I'm willing to work to make it as simple as I can. I'll leave it there.
I think you have very well defended the insurance company. Thank you.
I think Suendu wants to add something.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I think because it's a very good question, and that is what exactly the question in consumers' mind, and Amit ji has kind of covered many points. I just want to add few things. There has been a change over the years. What we have seen is some of the products where the loss can be quantified and assessed with digital means by surrogating information from different sources, especially for delayed flights or delayed baggage, those kind of travel insurance claims. Now, from the DGCA, the information is fetched. If the flight was actually delayed, that information confirms, then the claim amount is directly transferred to the policy holder without asking for any documents. Similarly, there are hospital cash policies, there are parametric based daily covers. So where if that event is triggered, which is confirmed through the government data or any common source of data, so then the insurance company doesn't ask for documents and they settle it. Okay, so but here the issue is about assessment, right? Because ultimately insurance company is a trustee of everyone else policyholders fund. We can't just in the behest of settling the claim and customer experience, we are also responsible to the other policyholders to manage their fund the insurance premium and settle it correctly and manage that book correctly. So that responsibility lies with the insurance company. And there are frauds that's happening. So none of this is at the responsibility of the customer, like Amiji said. So it is a responsibility of the insurance company only to make that process much more faster and simpler. At the same time, we can't be like ignore any of these things or risk that is there. Now coming back to the example of Parle-G, the problem is when we are buying Parle-G, in our mind, at least the consumer is buying, he's very clear that what he's expecting. But in buying insurance, he's buying Parle-G and expecting tea also along with it. Okay. So then he's buying Parle-G and expecting the tea also. So that is where the disconnect happens. And I am buying a health insurance policy, and I know I'm already a diabetic person, but I'm expecting the claim to be paid from tomorrow, which I will not declare. And then I'll blame the insurance company. Okay, so you are actually buying a policy which will pay you if you are in a hospital for more than 24 hours. Now, if you are expecting that if I go to the doctor for flu and cold and that 600 rupees or 200 rupees doctor charge to get reimbursed, so that means he has not understood the product that he has bought. Right? It is again a responsibility of the intermediary and the insurance company and everybody else. That I'm not taking that. But this is the mismatch that happens because the awareness is not there, and products are also designed in a particular way. Now I think insurance companies also realizing that all the products that we have are not being utilized by the consumers, and that is why the renewal retentions is a problem. Consumers are not coming back to buy more. So they are building more and more products that can be used, that customer can experience. It's not that in once in 20 years they will use. They can actually use on a every year, like the mutual friend was saying that how he's building products which can be more daily health, not about a big hospitalization or a catastrophe. So that's what I wanted to add. Thank you.
Very well answered. I will touch upon one more area in this. What happens is people buy cancer cover. Why I'm saying this is because we are talking about insurance for all. So there, these concerns will be, they will not even come to we will not even come to know. So if you buy a cancer cover, the most commonly happening cancers in the country is not covered. Rest of the cancer covers are covered in that particular policy. So when he goes for a claim settlement, the person realizes that this is not covered because that particular disclaimer is written in the font 8 size in a large form, and customer is deprived. So imagine, as Shailab mentioned, customers are drawing money of 15,000, 10,000 rupees per month. If they put, say, 1,000 or 2,000, which is almost 10 or 20% of their salary, on the insurance, and later they realize that because of this condition or rider which is written on the font 8, they're deprived of the claim, that will be a face-off. So that is where I think that area should be looked at. That's what my recommendation was. Anyway, so over to you, Anish. You have.
No, I think the best part about insurance related discussions are that some everybody has their own personal experiences which can add value to the discussion, which is for the larger forum. So that's a good thing. So I think we'll just continue from where Mr. Amit left and take it to Suvendu, because we've all discussed that what customer wants, what she or he declares, and what eventually insurance company has to rely. So Svindu, as an insurtech, how do you think you can create a win-win-win situation? Because for you as an insurtech to exist, you need to have your profits also coming into the way. Insurance company also needs to pay the legit claims so that customers get benefit, but still they cannot, since they rely on you or any other bank assurance or distribution channel to take care of the customers and service them properly, they just cannot blindly entertain all the claims. So how do you think insurtechs, which are a good link between the underwriter and the customer who have not seen each other, can help to create that win-win-win situation in terms of legit claims and servicing?
Yeah, I think that's a great question, and that's exactly what we are solving. Not only limited to the claims at the time of the underwriting also. So we have seen certain products underwriters were shying away to underwrite because the absence of information, or especially for small ticket size products, they did not have wherewithal to appoint some third party who will go and look at the premises, get some data about, let's say, shop insurance in a small village, a small place. The premiums are so small that underwriters cannot afford to send a surveyor to go and check whether there is a water body next to it, what area, whether a fire brigade can reach to that location, and all of that aspect. Now, through technology, we are able to provide a risk score based on the nearest fire brigade, nearest police station, the earthquake zone, the sea level height. So all of these information through technology, we are able to get for any particular pin code, any particular geolocation, and provide a overall riskometer score to an underwriter. I'm saying, for example, of a property insurance perspective. So then underwriter is given defined the parameters that if the earthquake zone is so and so, it is acceptable. If it is nearest fire brigade is 5 kilometer, I will accept it. If it is beyond 5 kilometer, it is a referral. So they are able to define such things and accept much more, enhance their acceptance criteria for proposals much more, sitting at their office digital means. So that is more from an underwriting risk. And the similar things, if we apply to health insurance, like Amitji mentioned about your variables and the data that you get from secondary sources, that helps the health underwriter, a life underwriter, to understand what is not only the data that comes from the health data diagnostic reports, it also about the daily lifestyle that the person goes through. So now the underwriters are not limited to only few parameters. They are also seeing dynamically how the things are changing, what kind of food you're having, how the heart rate is changing, how the lifestyle, how much energy you are consuming, or how many calories you're burning. So all of these aspects they are including into their underwriting parameter. So that is more from a accepting a risk perspective, which some of the areas which earlier they were unable to accept or price it correctly, now they're able to price it correctly more dynamically, then charging a one price across a average price across all the portfolio. Now they're able to price the risk based on the quality of the type of the risk. The second, in terms of claims also, like I was giving that example of the travel claim based on the DGCA data. Similarly, the weather meteorological side data that giving to the crop insurance and weather insurance claims, parametric insurance claims. And similarly, the health insurance claims are also getting digitized with the hospitals and TPAs. They are through APIs, they are connected. So the data is getting processed on a real-time basis instead of the physical sifting of documents. So that is enhancing the overall customer experience. So technology is definitely helping across all of these areas. And also the triggers that the claims team and the underwriting team are able to set within these technology links, that which is the hospital which is kind of sending a particular type of claims or the charges. So they're able to identify the potential frauds much faster than much later. So earlier, the whole accumulation of data is to happen across insurance companies and across their portfolio. And a much later stage, probably after 20 days, they'll come to know with their internal analysis of MIS and report. Now they're able to set these triggers inside their system and see it much earlier and arrest such frauds to happen repeatedly much earlier than it happened. So both on the claim settlement side and policy onboarding side, the insurtechs are definitely helping, and that is enhancing the overall experience of the channel who is distributing, the customer who is consuming, and it also reduces the whole cost of the insurance company by appointing so many other means to get data. Now they are able to save those costs. So that is how I would like to conclude.
Yeah, I think that sounds great because yeah, it's good to be, you know, the feet on the fleet for insurance companies, and giving them the, you know, totally unbiased information, not representing a side, but giving them the you know, totally unbiased information. I think that should be the key. So now, you know, now that we are in a mode of discussing the challenges, you know, that we are seeing, I would like to, you know, ring back to Mr. Shailab. Now that we have seen, you know, how, you know, a health insurance and, you know, typical, you know, where the parties are very distinguished. You know, there's a first party, second party, and a third party works, but it's not that distinguished, you know, setup in a mutual insurance, you know. But still, I am sure you would have your own challenges as Uplift and as overall as a mutual under insurance. You know, there might be people who would be, you know, willing to hide some information or, you know, make use of some claim or something like that. So I would like to understand what are the kind of challenges that you face in servicing the customers once you've convinced them to be part of the system. But there would be some challenges, some things that you have, you know, taken care of, and some things that you still feel you know, need to be taken care of. Shala, please.
Thanks, Anish. I think there are two, three very specific areas where we face a challenge, and I would start with the biggest one. Being a community-based model or a mutual model, the biggest risk is of, you know, we don't have access to reinsurance. That's our first risk. We rely most on the surplus that we have, and that is the pool that we have. So while we are legally allowed to exist, the lack of regulation does not allow us to access reinsurance market. So that's one problem. Second is that, as I said, we believe in organic growth. So we also don't have access to capital to sustain what we are doing. So, you know, offer better products and have a better buy-in upfront. So our products are priced low. The cover also is low. And that results in a model where, you know, you are working with a class which is extremely aspirational. If you're offering 30,000, 50,000 cover, they want 1 lakh. If you're offering 1 lakh, they want 5 lakh cover. You know, and this cannot be scaled so fast in a community-based model. That's something that is a big challenge for us. In terms of you know, the frauds and things like that, I think we are bit better off than others, primarily because there is a community control. तो हमारे यहाँ claims fraud होगा तो मुश्किल है आपके लिए, बिकॉज कम्युनिटी डिसीजन लेती है. तो अगर आपने चोरी की है और पता चल जाता है कम्युनिटीज में, मतलब इंडियन कम्युनिटी में, यूरोपियन कंट्रीज की बात नहीं करता, इंडियन कम्युनिटीज में पता चल जाता है कि आपने चोरी की है, तो क्लेम्स जाएगा आपके पास. और वो अंडरराइटर कितना भी उसको रिजेक्ट करेगा, कम्युनिटी ने देख लिया कि अगर आपने सच में कुछ गड़बड़ की है तो मतलब हालत खराब होती है. तो उस सेंस में अगर हमारा फ्रॉड देखा जाए तो हमें सप्लाई साइड से ज्यादा चैलेंजेस रहे हैं. हॉस्पिटल्स खूब बिल्स मारते हैं हमें उल्टे सीधे, और उनको लगता है कि हम कम्युनिटी वाले हैं तो कुछ भी कर सकते हैं. उनको ये नहीं समझ में आता हम भी उतने ही चौकन्ने हैं, और कम्युनिटी ज्यादा चौकन्नी होती है क्योंकि वो एक एक बिल देखती है. आप बिलीव नहीं करोगे, औरतें जब क्लेम्स मीटिंग में बैठती हैं हमारी, वो जिस तरह से सवाल पूछती है ना, आपके अंडर राइटर्स भी नहीं पूछते होंगे. तो कहने का मतलब ये है कि our challenge one is to make that household understand that the product works for you. So जैसे मैंने कहा, उनकी हेल्थ नीड्स डेली हैं, सो वी फोकस हेविली ऑन आउट पेशेंट केयर, एंड वो हमारे लिए भी अच्छा होता है बिकॉज फिर हमारी जो क्लेम की फ्रीक्वेंसी है वो काफ़ी, मतलब हॉस्पिटलाइजेशन की जो फ्रीक्वेंसी है वो काफ़ी कम हो जाती है बिकॉज वी डू सो मेनी आउट पेशेंट केयर. तो हमने ये देखा है कि अगर आप रिस्क मैनेजमेंट बहुत अच्छे से करते हैं, मैंने कोई कह रहा था कि वो फॉन्ट 8 में एक्सक्लूजन्स डालते हैं, आप बिलीव करोगे अगर ये सेक्टर, ये इंडस्ट्री पहले एक्सक्लूजन्स बता के पॉलिसी बेचे जो बेच नहीं पाएगी, तो लोग सब मानने के लिए तैयार हैं. जब हम औरतों को बताते हैं कि भैया ये एक्सक्लूजन है, इस पैसे में इतना ही मिलेगा, यू कैन नॉट डू दिस, मतलब आपको लगता है वो नहीं समझेंगे? क्यों नहीं समझेंगे भाई, वो आपके और मेरे जैसे ही लोग हैं, उनको समझ में आता है किस चीज के लिए कितना पैसा लगता है, उनको तो बहुत अच्छे से समझ में आता है वो बात. लेकिन हम क्या करते हैं, हम सेल्स में, इतना सेल्स ड्रिवन मॉडल है इंश्योरेंस का इंडिया में कि आप बेच के आ जाओ, रिन्यूअल्स का तो भूल जाओ. तो अगर आप रिन्यूअल रेट्स देखेंगे, कोई रिन्यूअल रेट्स की बात नहीं करता, बहुत कम लोग हैं जो ऑनेस्टली बात करते हैं उसके बारे में, सब सेल्स में लगे रहते हैं. हमारे यहाँ रिन्यूअल रेट 90% के ऊपर है. उसका एक बहुत बड़ा कारण है कि हम बहुत ऑनेस्टली बताते हैं, और उसको टाइम लगता है. मैं फिर से बता रहा हूँ, उसमें टाइम लगता है, पैसा लगता है, बहुत मेहनत लगती है, और ये इतना आसान नहीं है. तो और मेरा दूसरा एक और प्रॉब्लम है कि इंडिया इतनी बड़ी कंपनी, लुक एट द नंबर ऑफ इंश्योरेंस कंपनीज वी हैव. मतलब यूएस इज 1/4 ऑफ आवर पॉपुलेशन, दे हैव 6,000 इंश्योरेंस कंपनीज. हम अभी भी बहुत बहुत नेसेंट हैं, एंड मतलब बहुत सारे कैपिटल की जरूरत है, बहुत सारा कम्युनिटी कैपिटल की जरूरत है इंश्योरेंस को फॉर ऑल करने के लिए. मतलब ये बोलना और कहना बहुत आसान है, लेकिन इफ यू लुक एट व्हाट पीपल नीड एंड द काइंड ऑफ प्रोडक्ट्स दे नीड, हम बहुत पीछे हैं अभी भी उसको ऑफर करने में. जो प्रोडक्ट्स हम पुश कर रहे हैं बेसिकली वो पुश प्रोडक्ट्स हैं, पुल प्रोडक्ट्स अभी भी बहुत कम है. तो मेरा ये मानना है, एक आपका पहले भी वो सवाल था कि म्यूचुअल्स क्या कर सकते हैं. ये जो एसएचजीज हैं, कोऑपरेटिव्स हैं, मैं आज तक समझ नहीं पाया कि कोऑपरेटिव इंश्योरेंस इंडिया में फेमस क्यों नहीं है, जबकि हमारे यहाँ इतने कोऑपरेटिव्स हैं. और फाइनेंशियल हेल्थ कोऑपरेटिव्स का देखा जाए तो अमूल और इसको छोड़ दिया जाए तो बहुत कम ऐसे कोऑपरेटिव्स जिनका फाइनेंशियल हेल्थ के बारे में आप अच्छे से बात कर सकते हो. तो वो एक रीजन हो सकता है. बट ये जो एसएचजी मूवमेंट है, फेडरेशन मूवमेंट है, कोऑपरेटिव्स वाला मूवमेंट है, दे कैन एक्चुअली बिकम द फर्स्ट लेयर ऑफ इंश्योरेंस जिसके ऊपर कमर्शियल इंश्योरेंस कंपनीज आ सकती हैं. हमें इंडिया में 3 लेयर देखना चाहिए, हम 2 ही लेयर देख के खुश हो जाते हैं, एक कमर्शियल लेयर और एक गवर्नमेंट का लेयर. वी नीड अ फर्स्ट लेयर वेयर कम्युनिटीज आर इन्वॉल्व इन रिस्क मैनेजमेंट, तब जाके आप इंश्योरेंस दे पाओगे. क्योंकि नहीं तो आपका प्रीमियम हर समय बढ़ता रहेगा, अगर आप रिस्क में फोकस ही नहीं करोगे आपका प्रीमियम हर समय बढ़ता रहेगा, और इंडिया में इतने लोग मतलब पैसा नहीं दे सकते, इट्स अ फैक्ट. तो आपको रिस्क मैनेजमेंट में इन्वेस्ट करना ही है. सो मेरा ये मानना है कि India needs a 3-tier model of insurance, whatever, whether it is life, agri, it should have a component of where community understands the risk, एंड वो फ्रॉड का रिस्क हो, वो बैड रिस्क का क्वालिटी की बात हो, ये कम्युनिटी को समझ में आता है, बजाय बाकायदे हम उनको समझाने जाएं. सो आई थिंक इफ वी हैव दिस 3-tier मॉडल जहाँ पे कम्युनिटी मॉडल है जो एक पर्टिकुलर पार्ट तक रिस्क मैनेज करती है, उसके ऊपर कमर्शियल है, उसके ऊपर गवर्नमेंट है, आई थिंक दैट्स वेयर इंश्योरेंस विल बिकम यूनिवर्सल. अदरवाइज गवर्नमेंट अकेले भी नहीं कर पाएगी.
Yeah, fair enough. I think that's definitely the scene, and it's I think it's a starking difference how a mutual insurance thinks and treats the customers, and how a commercial insurance thinks and treats the customer, and they are mild. I'm not saying who is right or wrong here. Everybody's right at their place, but all of us who have seen insurance from one angle have seen it so differently.
Anish, all insurance is mutual by design. How do you, develop into a business model is a different thing. बिना mutual idea के insurance चल ही नहीं सकता. You are pulling risk basically. So
Right.
as long as you are honest and transparent with your customer, I think the customer understands. ये जो गलती करते हैं ना कि customer को कैसे भी बेच के आ जाओ, I think ये जब कम हो जाएगा ना, we will see a far better insurance cover in India.
Just to take it, our discussion to the last leg, where let's move ahead from our experiences to what we can do. I think I'll bring it back to Sudeshna ji. Ma'am, you have you've been in mostly your endurance has been with the rural insurance part, and you have seen the rise and fall of the government backed product, and in between them there have been some private initiatives that have come and have gone. Some have lasted for long and some have not. So I would like to understand, not every pilot succeeds into a good full blown insurance. What are the things that one should take care as learnings from a pilot, so that it can be scaled enough to become a product that can be at least replicated in many parts of the country, if not across the country? Your thoughts, please.
Thank you, Anish. That's a tricky one. As you mentioned, that every pilot cannot be successful. Like if I talk about the channel which I am taking care of, this is like the last year we have introduced this channel in our company, and this is a pilot. Expectation is huge, but we are not able to reach till now as per the expectations of the management. But this kind of experiment has to go on, and the reason of the failure to be noted and circulated and analyzed in a bigger manner. Like sometimes what happened, as an insurance company, everybody has to do something new, something has to happen, everybody has their LRP thing and all. In that, many new projects are coming in. If it is not getting successful, we are in little hurry to move from one to another, try different things. But as mentioned by my earlier speaker, that rural is not that easy. Like it is everyone's dream that Har Ghar Bima, Ghar Ghar Bima. Even we are also going with that tagline. If you have seen, any of you have seen that. But that is not easy. It takes a lot of time, a lot of management, a lot of field work, technology intervention. So lot of time needs to be invested on it, and the failure should not be just put in the back table. The reason of the failure needs to be analyzed, and we have to work on that to take it ahead. Instead of कि ठीक है एक project ले लिया नहीं हुआ, what we do कि we will not able to generate the revenue, the project gets scrapped. So any even for a insurtech, for insurance companies, for the brokers, everybody does that, but that should not be the approach. We should give more time. And as mentioned, it's still everywhere. Even in urban area, we are talking about rural insurance is always a pull factor is missing. So pull factor has to be introduced by any means, by the intervention of technology, by creating awareness. That is very important. That till then this model is not shifting from push to pull. It would be always a dream that Har Ghar Bima hona chahiye. So it is very important on that aspect also. In abroad, we see so many things are happening on the sensory part. But I feel still none of us has started working on a link-based sensory thing with insurance. That also needs to come into place. There are a lot of other things like for life insurance, still we see a lot of ads. For GI, still if we talk about lot of advertisement and these things are missing. So that needs to be promoted. Like In terms of the question which we asked about the claims, people say that still a lot of documentation are required, but so many things has been changed. Insurance company has introduced voice-based solution, WhatsApp-based solution as mentioned, but people are not aware of it. People are not using it. As a GI company, I can say we have introduced 20 minutes motor claim settlement, wherein you just need to click some photographs with a certain amount of claim amount. You just need to click some photographs, upload in our app, and within 30 minutes, if your account number is updated, you will get a call from the insurance company and the claim would get settled. But I think the penetration of this thought is only limited to the urban area. So for taking it to the other step, the thought has to go to the last mile. So everyone needs to work on it, be it an insurtech company, be the insurance company, be the regulator, be the government. Today, one success of PMFBY depends on these promotions they have done. Like even 5 years back, 6 years back also, crop insurance was happening, but now the ban is there because of lot of promotional activities done by government itself along with the insurance company. They have set a particular budget for it. So this kind of thing has to happen if we want to take the insurance till the last mile. That is very important. If we talk about the rural insurance, one of my experiences, building the trust is still very difficult. If somebody from a private player is going and talking about insurance, if there is no any local support or no any local link up, then it has become they still treat the person as an alien, which and as because there is an awareness issue there, the thought has not gone. Yes, I can get my claim in 20 minutes without even doing a documentation, just clicking the photographs, put the RC or the driving license. Even as Mr. Malik was talking about that in general insurance in abroad, what is happening that they are putting a device in the car where from they are monitoring the nature of the driver. Trust in last few days, like most of the companies have come up with an idea like drive as you pay, but the idea is like how much it has been percolated to the ground level. This is one of the biggest challenge, and that has to go door to door. Then only we can expect that we can overcome the failures, and we can talk about that sahi mein har ghar bima be the successful thing. That's from my end.
Thanks, John. Thank you so much. Yeah, so I think awareness and trust, definitely, I think that's the common thing that has come out, of the discussion, and I think that is something that's across the segments. You call it a low, medium income or a high net worth. Everybody has to have that trust in insurance company. With that, back to you, Vikas, for your concluding remarks. I think we're just on time. And
So I think the great discussions. Thank you, the panelists, Amit Malik, Kumar Shailab, Sudeshna, and Sudhenshu, and very intelligent questions, Anish, you had asked. And I hope this will regard collaboration, and we will be able to identify the gaps, and maybe some kind of fintech and collaboration will emerge from this discussion. With this, I say thank you to all, and we look forward to the next session next week. Thank you, everyone.